Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are in the world. Guys, today's video, MTV MultiVac. So guys, obviously phenomenal project. Go and check out our intro video if you've not watched it already. I will leave a link at the end of this one. Thanks to those who brought MTV to my full attention in one of the recent My People's Crypto or the People's Crypto videos. I did know about MTV a few months back, but I kind of not necessarily ignored it, but I had long story short, loads in my portfolio already in terms of assets. I didn't feel like adding another one. Obviously that's a whole hindsight. I wish I did, but I didn't. But I feel like right now, where I've been accumulating MTV at these current price points and slightly lower, that we are onto a winner here, guys. My personal opinion is I thought we would get to at least maybe 30 cents in this bull run. A lot of people shouting out more than that. Let us know in the comments below what you think your price prediction is for the upcoming bull run for MTV. I'm super excited about this one. I think it's still very early, even at these silly price points. But a couple of pointers before we dive into the chart properly. Of course, recently kind of mentioned on the MTV Twitter site. So we've got here quite recently, of course, the November action upcoming that's pinned by MultiVac on Twitter here from the 8th of November, a few days back. So smart contracts obviously on the cards. I think this is going to be something when it's launched with MTV properly is going to take it up to another level. Of course, a lot of projects are really pushing the smart contract narrative and that ability within their chain and protocols. And I think if MTV can pull that off in this arguably short space of time since they've been around, it is going to do wonders in my opinion on the chart movements for sure. They've got the hackathon options planning in the works as well, so to help with the development program of the MultiVac, making it stronger, healthier in the back end, and that's good news for investors, it's good news for developers, it's good news for people who are using the MultiVac system as their scaling option and things like that. There's loads of other cool stuff going on with MultiVac as time goes by in November. So I think it's going to be a big month, and it's going to be a catalyst arguably into December to find some unbelievable potential new prices. So 27 cents is the actual price point I put in as a price prediction. Let us know what yours are, and also let us know the price point you got in at MTV. Really interested to know that all the time. So guys, let's take a look at the macro level of MTV right now. Indicator on performance wise on the right hand side here, down 7%, but we had the Evergrande situation yesterday, which didn't help, but 17% up on the month, still very positive. 8,376% up year to date, absolutely phenomenal. So we're entering this moment right now where we're still trying to identify if this is our new support area, and what I mean by that is around this sort of literally pretty much bang on the 2 cent area. Yesterday we closed at 0.021, so it's edging closer to that 2 cents even more. Today, as of recording, we are very much just about floating still above that 2 cent mark. So it's really touch and go right now as to whether we can hold that. What we don't want to see is too many touches on that point and then a breakdown, and then we can't start pulling ourselves back. So what are the observations around that? Well, actually, there's some key points here. So we drew in this orange line in a previous video, and this point still stands in my opinion. From that point, we had the big drop down and the big movements up. This, in my opinion, is not enough around here to suggest that this is really a fully confirmed support line. So since those kind of marks where we had the previous high here on the 13th of April, what was that, a high of 0.0185? So as long as we can keep above that, that's going to be really beneficial for us to move MTV up to higher heights in the coming weeks. So we're tracking around where we've been already floating around the beginning of November, and something we haven't seen really since the 20th of September and also the 6th of September as well, in terms of this kind of area here, what I'm talking about, around this sort of between 2.3 cents and around the 1.9 cents. So there's just slightly under dip down under the 2 cent mark. So we still have this buy box here. I still think that we might still come back and touch this maybe 1 or 2 more times before we float MTV back into a positive momentum. So we're very much trying to identify, like I said, if 2 cents is our marker point for MTV to try and push it back up. And if we fail at that, we could come back down and test again like we did on the 3rd and 4th of November, back down at these levels of, again, literally bang on 2 cents. And we may, just may, come back down and test this previous orange line down here at the very high regions of 1 cent. I'd be very surprised if we come back down to like 1.5 or something lower, because I do believe there's a lot of traction behind MTV and a lot of belief now as the project gains more awareness. We've got all the developments and the roadmap coming as well. I just can't really see that really happening unless something crazy happens in Bitcoin or some other Evergrande nonsense. Who knows what happens in this space these days. But let's see how that plays out over the next few days. If it does do, I do expect like a U-turn like we've seen here, maybe in a bit more of a dramatic fashion and quicker fashion to bring us back up level. Because ideally what we want to do is gain structure where we are kind of right now at that 2.1, 2.2 cent mark to get us back to the 2.3 and then into the 2.5, 2.6. So it's kind of silly really talking about like, you know, thirds of a cent and this, that and the other, but it is quite dramatic really in that sense. If you've got loads of accumulation of this, these kind of small moves matter as much as they would if someone's just going to come in and buy 2 cents and then 2.5 cents. It makes a big difference in the long run in terms of hundreds of dollars, maybe $1,000 in some cases. So yeah, I can understand why people look at that in a bit more detail perhaps, but like I said, we're in this bearish mode right now. Let's just take a look actually quickly at the RSI and everything. So we've had this sell-off movement really since the 2nd of November. It's really weird looking. I've never really seen one that looks like this. It's a bit of a mess. But what I would say is it's showing the confidence in MTV really. The volume behind it. Everyone's really thinking hard about MTV now. So the RSI is floating this green line here at 47. I do anticipate that to be coming down maybe to 45 or a 40 mark possibly before we really can push back up. So that's why I said maybe in a few days time we might have a further bit more correction before a bounce back up. And we are in this bearish mood here on the MACD as well since that 9th of November moved back down. Whether this mark here is kind of falsified because it's kind of not really followed the track, but it kind of feels like if this line continued that we would probably be around this area on the MACD anyway. So we'll have to unfortunately watch this kind of tail off and finish doing what it's doing first, because we did have big over purchasing areas around here, and it's understandable that we're in a correction mode right now. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be majorly dramatic, guys. I think it's going to be relatively short-lived and we will start taking MTV back up to higher heights. And once we do that, once we start getting a mechanism, guys, of like 2.5 cents, I think we can easily push the 3 cent barrier quite quickly, get support there, and then all of a sudden you're starting to talk about the higher regions again. Like I said, we're a bit sort of far off those levels of like maybe 5 cents yet, maybe in a few weeks time, certainly in December I believe. But we'll get there for sure, and I'm still sticking with my 27 cents. And yeah, I think that's going to take a bit of time, maybe a few more months of course, but I think that's where we might just about end up. So guys, that kind of wraps up MTV. Let us know what you think. I mean, look at it. Look at where it's come from. It's absolutely phenomenal. Even back in March, like 0.0003. I think Cheeky Crypto were mentioning it around like 0.5 cent. And I remember Chris there saying about it, reminding him of when he got into vet originally. And he wasn't wrong. They weren't wrong. It's gone great so far. And it's a project that's going to be lasting for a long time. Certainly something for the future, absolutely. But I do think there's some great opportunities in the short term as well. So let us know what you think about MTV in the comments below, guys. And we will do a video probably next week on how to stake MTV as well and the implications of doing so. So come on board to check that one out when we launch that one as well. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry this is a bit too quick, got loads of videos to get through. Just wanted to do a quick update on MTV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next MTV MultiVac video. Bye bye.